everyone! Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for this video. Okay, if you know anything about me, it's that I love Regency era. I am a history girl first and foremost. Like, I love history. I was genuinely going to do a degree in it, but I didn't because what can you really do with that? But anyway. And like, no, I was obsessed with Regency era and everything before Bridgerton, so you best believe when it came out, I was so excited. I love royal core. Even when I read fantasy, it doesn't have to be set in Regency era necessarily, but I love when there's like a court atmosphere. I don't know why. I love court politics. It just gets me. So summer to me is particularly Regency, or at least spring, summer, like a nice sunny day is what I'm trying to say. Is just perfect, like in the garden, outside, whatever. I'm gonna see if I can go to cute little parks and gardens, but to be honest, like, you know, I'm working all week, we'll see. I do actually have a day off in a couple days time, and I'm literally gonna spend the whole day reading because I've like taken the day off to just chill, so I'm excited for that. Anyway, I'm gonna read Regency books. Now, whether that's Regency romance, Regency fantasy, Regency mystery, murder, crime, whatever, I'm gonna read a big range. Obviously Regency fantasy would be my favorite, but I'm so excited. We're gonna start with The Rose Bargain. Now, I don't know why, but this book is I've got particularly high hopes. I'm really excited for it. I'm wondering, I feel like this is a top 5 books I've been excited for this year. Like, I wasn't waiting for the release of, do you know what I mean? Like, this has been on my shelf for ages, but I've been waiting for the perfect time because I want to read it in a nice summery atmosphere. Now, unfortunately, the day that I've started this, it's not summery. So I'm gonna wait a little bit until the rain stops and then I will start this because this just feels so cute and cozy and like springy. I don't know why I'm so excited for it. I think it's just because it's got everything I want. It's got fae, it's got fantasy, it's got Regency, it's got court politics. It's kind of like The Selection, which is also one of my favorite series growing up. Like, yeah. Also, I've only ever heard good things about it. I've not really seen anyone complain about it at all or say that it's bad, and that's quite rare for a book nowadays online, so that's insane. And also, it's set in like Kensington Palace kind of area, like London-y palaces, and so I can kind of picture it more. And overall, it just sounds like the perfect book for me. So let's just quickly tell you what it's about. Essentially, we have a girl who is in this competition to try and win the marriage of the Fae prince. There's reasons why she's doing that, basically essentially because she needs some money and she needs to cover up a bargain. I think it might be love triangle, I'm not sure. Good morning. So I started The Rose Bargain last night. How cute is this without the dust jacket? It's like a little Beauty and the Beast book. I'm now on page 55 and I'm not gonna lie, it's a bit slow. Normally when a book is like a 5, especially a 6-star read for me, I'm normally like obsessed with it pretty quickly, within like 10 pages, but definitely within the first 50 pages. And I'm not currently, like, there's not really a desire within me to pick it up. I'm only picking it up because I want to read, but not read this, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not like wondering what's going to happen next. It's only like, it's under 400 pages, so it's like 350 pages or something, and we're 50 pages in, and so I'm a bit like, I'd have expected it to be going a bit quicker by now. But we've kind of set everything up. This girl, she is going to compete for the hand of Prince Bram. And she's also met the other brother prince previously in like a little kerfuffle with a carriage, basically. Anyway, so I presume there's going to be a love triangle between them. I already know that I prefer Bram to Emmett. Emmett is the one she met accidentally. Bram is the one she's going to fight for. I do think Emmett will end up being probably the real one because it's normally not the conventional one, if that makes sense. Like, as in, Bram is obviously the one she's competing to marry, so if she ended up with him, that's quite obvious. You know what I mean? Whether like Emmett coming in and shaking things up would be a different plot, so that's why I think that's going to go. But I prefer Bran. Not a lot of reasoning, and he's a bit more mysterious. He hasn't really spoken yet. We don't know much about him, but he seems a bit more evil. He seems a bit weird. I don't know, or maybe I've got it the wrong way around. I'm not sure, but whatever. We'll find out. I do like the vibes though. Like, I'm really liking the court atmosphere and the Regency setting. Okay, so I was wrong. Prince Emmett is the one with dark hair, and he's the one that's broody and mysterious, and Prince Bram is nice. Still kind of prefer Bram though, currently. I think it might be because I just don't like the name Emmett. Is that weird? I feel like names, especially male main character names, makes such a difference to me. Anyway, but it's getting a bit better. Things are happening. Now 150 pages in. First off, love Bram, but I don't trust him. I feel like one of the brothers is gonna turn out to be bad or something. Like, this is giving me Red Queen vibes. That kind of twist. So I'm nervous. I am enjoying it a lot more now though. A lot more is happening. While she's trying to win this, you know, the hand of Bram, she's also kind of made like a bargain with the other brother to seduce Bram, because, a long story, but basically the other brother needs her to win as well, so that they can sort of defeat the queen or whatever. It's a good concept, it works. It's quite obvious, like, obviously the other brother Emmett is like teaching her how to flirt and like how to dance, and like what's obviously going to happen is they're going to fall for each other, and he's going to be jealous actually that he's made her fall for his brother, you know what I mean? Like, that's how it's going to go. But it's fine, I'm eating that up. I love that trope, it's fine, so it's all good. And yeah, it's definitely growing on me. I'm definitely wanting to read it more. Like, I start work in 10 minutes and I'm literally going to be reading pretty much until I start. So yeah, I am enjoying it a lot more. I'm very intrigued as to what's happening now and how is this going to play out. So yeah, it's definitely growing on me, and I am really liking it a lot more now, even within just 100 pages. But I am halfway through, and again, like, you know, the romance is very slow burn. Like, there's not really a romance between either of them right now. They're just kind of being like flirty and cute and sweet to each other, both of the brothers. Guys, I had too many things to say. I need to think. Okay, so I've just finished the Rose Bargain, if you couldn't tell. Those last 100 pages, crazy work. Oh my god. What did I just read? Now, I heard that there was some crazy ending or twist or whatever, and I don't want to spoil anything, but look, I did see it coming. However, I was still shocked when it happened, and that's what I love about a book, and that's what makes a twist or an ending really good, is when I literally know, or I'm suspicious that something's going to happen, and even when it does, I'm still shocked at how it plays out and how it's done and why and all of this. And it all made so much sense, because I think often when there's a first book that has a crazy ending and twist, sometimes it feels like it's just done for marketing, and like it doesn't actually all add up. Like, I loved Metal Slinger's ending, but it didn't completely make sense. I mean, I'm sure it will make sense in the next book, but like, it was a bit weird as much as I loved it. But with this, like, it all came together and made so much sense. Now, yesterday, I couldn't stop thinking about the book. At work, I kept thinking about how I was coming home to read it. I only started to read very late last night, as you will have seen, because I had so many chores to do when I got home. And I had loads of videos to edit, but to be honest, as much as I love editing videos, I was just sat there thinking, but I want to be reading the book, you know? I want to be reading this. So I stayed up quite late and got very close to the end, and there was a certain chapter that ended on a crazy cliffhanger, and I managed to put it down then, because I thought, hang on, if I keep reading, I've got to read to the end now, and it was too late. Now, the next morning, and I have just finished. I have so many thoughts. Okay, first of all, this is 5 stars. And at the beginning, I was there doubting it, and I was going, oh, I don't know, because, you know, I'm not crazy obsessed with it right away and all of this rubbish. Well, I still stand by that. Like, I wasn't obsessed with it at first, but it got to about halfway through, and I was like, oh my god, okay. And what I will say is I'm not crazy bothered about the romances necessarily. It was more that I was suspicious of things, and I was waiting to see what was going to happen in terms of the people themselves and the characters and their journeys and the plot and the sort of fae world. Essentially, it's sort of set in London, but there's like another world, like the other world, where fae live and rule and whatever. World building is quite really light. Like, I mean, it's a very easy world anyway. But it's really light, so I really liked that about the book. But yeah, all I will say is that suddenly it just got really interesting. I mean, first off, we have the one bed trope. Yeah, it's not as Regency coded as I wanted it to be, in that it didn't feel as Regency as I was expecting. It just felt courtly, if that makes sense. Like, this could have been set in kind of any era in my head. Like, it could have been any older time set in a palace, you know what I mean? It didn't feel like specifically, you know, London, Kensington, Regency time, but that's fine. I still really enjoyed it. Emmett and Bram are the brothers, and Bram is definitely the character that I found the more interesting. He seemed the most, weirdly, he was like the more mysterious one, but I found that in itself more interesting, even though we didn't know as much about him. Emmett, I don't know what it is, it's just his name. I know that sounds so stupid, but I just can't find him hot, because to me, Emmett is like the guy from Legally Blonde, and like, he's the nice guy, yeah, but like, it's just not what I was picturing. And also, like, the Emmett in this is supposed to be like a rake and like a womanizer and all this. Like, he's not supposed to be this really nice guy. Like, he's supposed to be with dark hair, pale and like moody and brooding, like the classic sort of romantasy love interest, right? And I just couldn't picture him as that. I kept picturing him as this like light, sweet looking guy that was like really shy. I don't know, that's just how it felt for me. But he's not. It was really weird. Like, I kind of kept imagining the brothers swapped, but that is my own problem, I think. And that is my own issue with names. But anyway, the female main character, I honestly don't really care about either way. She didn't have much to her. I wasn't that bothered about her either way. But I didn't dislike her, so that's something. It's just that there wasn't much interesting to her, if I'm being completely honest. There's just something about it that I loved, and I think it was the last 100 odd pages just hit. Suddenly things started to happen, things started to go wrong. These trials that she's been doing to win the hand of the prince started to go wrong and get suspicious. The thing between her relationships with the two brothers were getting strained, and things were happening and they're getting a bit odd and blah blah blah. And then there was a sudden like twist, the first twist that was like, oh my god, why has she done that? She's crazy. And then the reveals of other things, and then more twists and more things kept happening, and I've just been sat here. Like, I started to stop eating because I couldn't concentrate. So genuinely, this is 5 stars, and it's because I was so hooked. And I mean, look, I say I've just finished it. I have like made lunch and chilled and ate for a little bit after eating it, and I haven't stopped thinking about it and thinking about when the next book will be out. And I straight away went to Instagram and was looking at when the next book will be out. And I know it comes out next year, but that's all we know. I'm praying it's like first half of next year, but I doubt it will be. Like, all I kept doing was thinking about that. And I think I know a book is 5 stars when I'm straight away begging for the next book, because normally with series, I'm kind of hit or miss with like carrying on the next one. I normally finish it and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna keep thinking about this for months until the next one comes out. This is going to be an anticipated release for me next year. Like, yeah, I want more books with this vibe, definitely. So I mean, good thing I'm doing this video. But I want specifically more like fantasy ones with this vibe. I to the point where I even want to write one myself, because I loved it so much. Like, a similar thing. I'm just obsessed. Good morning, guys. I am about to go to work. I say about, I've got about an hour until I need to leave, and we're reading Reputation. So I am on page 111. I read some yesterday. Now, I actually didn't do as much reading yesterday as I wanted because I had loads of chores to do. It was really annoying. It was my day off, but I just had loads of like people I needed to call and things I needed to do, and it was anyway. But to be honest, I also wasn't that bothered. Like, I'm really not that bothered about this so far. I'm not disliking it in any way. Basically, the issue is that I'm hungover from the Rose Bargain, basically. Okay, that's the issue. It's nothing to do with this book, because this book, it's quite funny. It's written well. It's written in an intriguing way. I'm interested in the characters. The plot, yeah, I mean it's sort of like a Gossip Girly plot, in that like it's sort of finding out what these girls are getting up to in these weird parties in the Regency era and all of this. So it's not like a really deep, crazy, heavy plot in any way. But that's fine. I thought that would be good after Rose Bargain, you know, to have kind of a lighter read, and this definitely is that. I'm slightly bored, but I think, again, it's because Rose Bargain was so... It just got me. But then again, you know, I didn't like Rose Bargain at first, so I'm not sure. Well, I didn't dislike it, but you know what I mean? I could get into it. So I don't know. Maybe there's going to be a point where it suddenly hits. It is very YA, and a lot of the talk and chatting between the characters is quite modern, even though it's set in obviously Regency time. And I get that that's kind of because it's like a sort of jokey, humorous book, and like it's supposed to be that kind of vibe. So it works, but it's just a jump from the last book that I read. And maybe this wasn't the best one to read after Rose Bargain, so that's totally my fault. But yeah, literally no faults with it at all. It's fun. It's funny. I like the female main character and I like the writing. I think that it's just not, like, nothing would hit right now other than a fantasy. I feel like my issue is I've read that book and it was really great, the Rose Bargain at the end, but to be honest, it was more about the fantasy than the Regency element. And so now I'm in a fantasy mood rather than a Regency mood. And obviously now I'm reading Regency books for a week. Okay, I'm now on page 210, chapter 15. I've kind of realised, why am I reading this book? Like, I just sat back and thought, what do I like? What's happening? What do I dislike? And basically, I'm not crazy about the characters. I know I just said I like the characters. I do and I don't. In that, I don't like the characters as people, but I am kind of enjoying it, seeing them live their lives and do their things. However, they're not Regency characters. They don't say Regency things, they don't act in Regency ways, they don't think like they would have at the time, those kind of things. Like, it feels very... It does kind of feel like the author watched Bridgerton and was like, yeah, I could write a book similar to that because people love Bridgerton, but then hasn't necessarily used actual historical accuracy in any sense, which, like, you don't have to. Like, that's fine. And this isn't claiming to be a historical novel, I don't think. It's more just a funny one. But I guess I was expecting or hoping it to have a bit more Regency accuracy. I mean, because the thing is, the Rose Bargain didn't really need to have perfect accuracy because it's a fantasy anyway. So it's not set exactly in the Regency era because it's a Regency era if there were, like, faves, so it's going to be different. But with this, like... yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so that's where I am with the characters. The actual plot, again, not a lot is happening. Something has just happened, but it looks like, which was bad, but it looks like it's just going to be forgotten about. It looks like we're not going to touch on it again. We might do, but I'm getting the feeling we're not, and I don't like that. I mean, I'm halfway through the book, and, like, nothing's happened. It's obviously not realistic. Like, obviously, like, if any of these girls were drinking and doing drugs and whatever in the Regency era back then, it wouldn't be accepted, would it? And they wouldn't get away with it. And I don't think that you'd be able to do it without being found out. But I appreciate it's not like a serious book. It's like a funny book, and it's supposed to be like... oh, I'm not finding it very funny. It's like, it's humorous, but it's not funny, if that makes sense. Like, the things that she says and thinks are humorous and can be funny, but the actual plot on the story is not funny. So yeah, to sum up, I'm basically sat here thinking, what am I reading it for? I'm not a big fan of the plot because not a lot is happening. I don't love the characters. I'm interested in their development, but they're not great. Most of them aren't great people. I hate the male characters, all of them, pretty much. And it's just a bit painful. But hey, I'm halfway through, I may as well just keep going. I think basically what I'm going to do is I've still got some time before I need to leave. I'm just going to keep reading until I need to go, and then after work when I come back I'll decide whether or not I DNF. I think at this point, if I'm halfway through, I may as well just read to the end. But the fact that I'm halfway through and I'm like, oh, but something good might happen, you know, something great might happen, you know, I'm waiting. Good morning. It's a no makeup day today. I have finished Reputation. Overall, I think I probably should have DNF'd. It did feel like a waste of my time. I kept waiting for a moment for there to be something that I'd be like, oh, because to be fair, in the previous book, there was that. And there just wasn't. I think if you like a book with very little actual plot and you just want to see what's randomly happening in these random people's lives, you will like this book. I've never been someone that loves that. Sometimes I do like a book with no plot, but the characters have to be particularly strong in order for me to like that. Like, I could read a book with no plot about Xaden and Violet from Fourth Wing, for example, because I love them as characters. So, and this for me just wasn't strong enough in that element. That's kind of all I really have to say. The writing was really fun. The writing I really liked, and that's what kept me going. It was funny. It's written in a way that appeals to me and appeals to a lot of people and is really easy to read and is funny. However, the actual content, it just didn't get me at all. For example, like, this is the first line of chapter 26. It was quite easy to determine which way was northwest when standing in a familiar front garden, but after 2 hours of walking in the driving rain, Georgiana couldn't have navigated herself out of a puddle. And she was, unfortunately, currently ankle deep in one. Like, it's written really well. It's written in an engaging, funny way, and I like books that are written like this. It's just that the plot, nothing's really happening, or at least nothing's happening that is getting me. Little things happened, like I said, like little shocking things happened. So not little, but big shocking things happened. But then they just weren't addressed ever again, really. Like, it wasn't really gone into in any way. The bad guys didn't get any justice. Yeah. But hey, I'm glad I gave it a go because it looks fun, and yeah, I did have high hopes, but it's okay. It's still written well. This is the thing. I don't really have anything necessarily bad to say. It's just that I don't think it's for me, and it's also almost too modern. Like, I don't really feel like it is Regency at all. Like, they don't act as if they're in a Regency era, and that's kind of the whole point of why I wanted to read it. So anyway, I'm now gonna start Lady's Guide to Mischief and Mayhem. So this is slightly different. I think this is a sort of crime mystery novel. A newspaper columnist, which I swear they wouldn't have had female newspaper columnists back then, but whatever. Again, clearly I feel like, you know, these aren't historical books. There's not historical fiction really. It's more of a, like, this is more of a crime book set then, and I think the other two also were like fantasy books set then, so it's not, you know what I mean, it's not as like historical. But anyway, hey, they should have been columnists, so it's fine. But basically there's a criminal going around London killing people, called like the Commandments Killer or something, and it looks like the main character is going to set up a column to sort of discover him in her newspaper with another girl, I think. Hey guys, I'm going to bed. I've had the worst headache all day, but I have been doing a bit of reading. I've been reading A Lady's Guide to Mischief and Mayhem. I'm DNFing, and it's totally a personal thing. It's one that, yeah, my head hurts, and I don't know, I could not get into it. And I don't know if that's because I'm just not feeling well, or if it's because it's not my usual type of book. Like, I do sometimes like a crime and a mystery and a murder mystery and those kind of books, but I just think basically the Rose Bargain has just ruined this video. It was just so good that I'm just in a slump, and like no book is matching, and I think I just now need to read a load of romantasy because I'm in that romantasy zone. Like, I need a fantasy fix right now. Hi guys, it is Friday evening. My makeup is coming off my face, so let's not talk about it, okay? It's been a hot day. I ran errands on my lunch break, and I finished Mortal Follies. Mixed opinions here. I read it in 2 sittings. I was intrigued most of the time. I say most because, if I'm being completely honest, I don't even think this is a spoiler. I think this is something you need to know. The whole plot and the plot that is advertised on the blurb gets fixed halfway through. So 200 pages in, I was like, why have I still got 200 more pages? What could I possibly, even 100 more pages, like, would be like, what else is possibly going to happen? And to be honest, nothing really did happen. So I'll say the first 200 pages I actually did really like. I like the writing style. I think it just suits me. A lot of people, it won't suit them, and it is just depending on whether you like that writing style or not, and I'll go into that in a minute. But in terms of plot, and especially because I read this wanting my Regency fantasy fix, and any fantasy elements do kind of get tied up halfway through. So yeah, it was a bit weird, the second half. In terms of plots, the fantasy I liked the idea that this woman was cursed and she was trying to work out how to not be cursed and whatever. In terms of the romance, I wasn't crazy about one of the love interests. She was just very, it felt kind of grumpy sunshine, but more just like kind of broody sunshine, and she was just too, broody and mysterious, and it was all just a bit too much. Like, I just couldn't be interested or like her as a character. The other girl was likeable, and I liked her, and I liked some of the other characters that were in it. It is very Regency, like that all the characters spoke in a Regency way. I feel like a lot of the culture and everything felt the very Regency era. It's probably the most accurate Regency era book that I've read out of the ones I've read this week. However, let's talk about the narrator. So it's a very interesting style, because the narrator, first off, you don't normally have a narrator. I think it must have been years since I've read like an actual narrator narrating a book. Like, not just third person, like they're talking about themselves as well while they're narrating it. And it's kind of like this entity is narrating it. It's not like, well, he's narrating the lives of these two mortal women. The way the narrator spoke was funny. To a point, it got a bit much. It got to the point where it felt very forced, and it felt very, trying to be funny. So it was funny at first, and it had, it was written in that style of Reputation, that same sort of writing style, which is really funny. However, I think this was done better because there actually was plot in this one. So that's what I liked about it. It had the plot that I was missing in Reputation. It had an interesting writing style and a really interesting narrator that I did really like listening to. Maybe because it was a narrator might be why I wasn't as bothered about the characters, and to be honest, I wasn't that bothered about their romance at all. But again, I think that's because I'm watching someone else describe it, which is a bit weird. I think if I was inside one of their heads, or I knew more about their actions and reasons why the characters did and said certain things, I think then I'd fall for them a bit more. But it felt very separated. It felt like I also was just didn't really know what was happening and was watching and just kind of guessing a lot of stuff, like guessing what so-and-so thought about the other person and whatever. But yeah, overall, I did like it. It was a 3-star read. There wasn't a point where I wanted to DNF it, but I just think it's structured weirdly. Like, why did it basically finish halfway through? It was hard to connect with the characters and with the plots, but I liked the fantasy elements. There was lots of talks about the gods and goddesses. The world building was interesting. It seemed to have like a lot of completely new made up world building, this new made up world, but also had elements of like Greek gods and goddesses and Roman gods and goddesses, like it's sort of loads of different references. But I kind of like that, to be honest. So yeah, so it was totally fine. I've seen a lot of bad reviews about this. As soon as I bought it, I've been wanting to read it for ages because I like the blurb and I like the cover, to be honest. And then literally as soon as I bought it, I saw so many bad reviews, and I personally didn't find it that bad. I didn't find it boring. The second half, maybe. It definitely wasn't as interesting. But yeah, I don't agree necessarily personally with those bad reviews, but I can also see that this book might not be for you if you don't like the narrator style and if you're not that bothered about the fantasy plot. So yeah. But anyway, I'm glad that I read it. It's definitely better than the last two, because the last two were like DNF, or I should have DNF'd. So yeah, I'm going to read one more book in this vlog. Now, like 5 books in one vlog is quite a lot for me. I mean, but it's just one of those weeks where I just can't stop reading, and every book that I've read in this vlog, I've read within like 2 days because I'm just in the mood. So we're going to do one more book. I'm going to read a Rivalry of Hearts because this is a fae fantasy Regency. Now I think with the Rose Bargain, what maybe got me was the fact that it just had everything I like. It had fantasy, it had fae, it had romance, it had a sort of love triangle-y two brothers trope, it had the Regency setting, and it had a court setting. Those are literally my favourite things of any story, and it had all of them in one. So I don't know if necessarily the story was insane or if it was just that helped. I haven't stopped thinking about the Rose Bargain still, like 5 days later, I have not stopped thinking about it. So, and several books later. So I'm going to go back into a fae fantasy and see if I like a Rivalry of Hearts, because that pretty much has all the same elements as the Rose Bargain by the looks of it. I don't know much about it. I actually kind of don't want to read the blurb. I just want to go in straight. I'm reading it on my Kindle. It's on Kindle Unlimited. Haven't read anything on Kindle yet. I've only read physical. So yeah, let's read that. Let's round that off. And hopefully I have high hopes for it because I'm in the fantasy mood. I think that might be the best way to end this vlog. And I think clearly, as much as I love the Regency era, and I thought that I would love Regency books, I don't know whether the books maybe just aren't as good, or if I actually would just prefer Regency fantasy. And maybe I just need to focus on Regency fantasy books and accept that I'm not crazy about other Regency books. Although, to be fair, I read the Bridgerton books and I loved those. And those were just normal romance. So, I don't know. Anyway, to be fair, I've not read a Regency romance this week, really. Like, a contemporary one. Not a contemporary one, obviously. Hey guys, it is Saturday. I have had a busy day of chores, errands, but like fun things. I went and I read in the park, which was really nice on my Kindle. And yeah, I'm halfway through a Rivalry of Hearts and it's fun. It's not as fantasy I was expecting, in the sense that the plot isn't really fantasy driven. The plot is essentially that these two people are it's kind of enemies to lovers, and that these two people are on the same book tour. These two authors are on the same book tour, and they're kind of competing to who can get the most sales and then win this contract or whatever, right? It's a cozy fantasy. You know that it's going to end well. It's marketed as that it ends in a happily ever after, so you already know that going in. So I'm enjoying it. It's not obviously then going to stand out as much as the Rose Bargain, but that's because, one, I know where it's going to go, and for me, a book that is so good is normally a book that I'm shocked at, or I'm not expecting, or there's a crazy ending or whatever. I've never really had like a cozy, obvious book be a 5-6 star read, but anyway, I wasn't expecting it to be 5 or 6 star, by the way. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's fun. I like the rivalry between the two characters. I'm not crazy about the romance as much, just because I'm not that bothered about him. We get both their points of views, but I really like her. She's quite funny and I see a lot of myself in her. And the fantasy element itself is basically just that they're in this fantasy world. Like, there's like another place you can go, which is like the land of the fae, and that's where they are. She's human, he's fae, I think. I can't remember. And that's kind of it. And like, you find out about the fae that live there and the customs, and you find out about the fae world, but the plot itself isn't anything to do with fantasy. It's just this book tour. So it's not what I was expecting. I was expecting more of a fantasy plot, which is what I was craving, but it's absolutely fine. And I'd say that I'm not actually that crazy about the romance plot. It's more the plot of just them two being rivals against each other. I'm just finding quite funny and cozy. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. I need to shoot some content. I've just had a little quick nap, and then I have some chores to do and things to do, and then hopefully I will finish this book tonight. But I might read here for a little bit first, actually, maybe like just 10 minutes. Hey guys, okay, I've just filmed my content and I finished Rivalry of Hearts. It's hard because it's one of those books where I don't have loads to say. It's a fun, cozy fantasy romance. If you want a cozy book that you know how it's going to end, you know it's going to end in the happily ever after, that's literally how it's marketed. You know that it's going to be all happy, and you know that there's not going to be crazy high stakes, you will like it. For me, there wasn't enough fantasy for what I was craving at this time. Like, Like I said, it's just set in a fey world, but there's not a lot of fantasy crazy stuff happening. The romance was cute, nothing stand out to me. Not obsessed with the male main character still, but it was fun to see their rivalry and see their relationship grow anyway, so it was still fun. So overall, yeah, it was fun. Now let's wrap up this week. So we started off so strong with the Rose Bargain. I honestly should have read that last. I did know it would be good because I had high expectations because so many people have spoken about it, but I was nervous to put it last because I thought if it is bad, I'm going to be miserable, and I'd rather read loads of books to take my mind off of it. Turns out it was too good. And it's one of those books where it's got better each day that I haven't read it. Like, it's been a week since I read that book now, and I still have not stopped thinking about it. I'm still obsessed. I want to go back and reread it again right now, to be honest, and I probably will, because I am in such a hangover, and that has not helped the rest of this video because I've been in such a slump. I need to read like a really good fantasy right now because I'm just not in that headspace. Like, I'm in such a court fantasy headspace right now. So anyway, that was definitely the best one. The other books were, like, honestly fine. There weren't any books that were bad. There were none that made me go like, this is objectively bad. Not at all. Even the one that I DNF'd, the Mischief and Mayhem one, wasn't bad. That was very much a personal thing. So yes, it's been a very fun video. I've enjoyed reading Regency. It's been very like sunny and rainy this week, so I didn't get to go to like my little gardens like I wanted to, but it's fine. It was still fun. But yeah, thank you very, very much for watching, guys. Let me know what other sort of videos you'd like to see me do, what other sort of themed ones you'd like to do. Let me know if you've read any of these books or if you have any Regency recommendations for me, because I will still be reading Regency romance and fantasy and stuff, just not all in one go. I will see you very, very soon. Have a lovely rest of your day.